in and out of Ohio. Well, folks, welcome. This is the Skullet podcast.
Hello.
This is our great guest this evening. Put your hands together for Leyla Ingalls, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, the Skullet podcast. Here we bring you guys awesome comedians. We track their growth as we track the growth of my Skullet. Hi, what's up? Yeah.
Can I ask you what a skullet is?
Yeah. So you know what a mullet is?
Yes.
So a mullet is like business in the front and party in the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm bald, right?
Yeah.
So a skullet is just it's like a nonprofit in the front and a retirement party in the back.
I like that.
Thank you. It's a joke. I feel awkward saying it. And
No, it's okay. I heard it last night.
yeah.
I didn't laugh then either.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding.
But it's
No,
just.
I giggled.
Oh, appreciate it.
Because
Yeah.
I've done a lot of roast battles now, and there was one guy who had very long hair, but he
Yeah.
was like obviously getting a receding hairline.
Sure. Yeah.
And I wrote a roast where I said, I looked at him and I was like, "You look like I'll never own a business in the front, and why do girls never come to my party in the back?"
That's amazing.
So I appreciated the thing you said last
Yeah. No. That's good. Yeah. We this has been about 3 months, and so I'm trying to grow it down to kind of like your length, and then
Oh,
I'll probably
really?
cut it. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow, you got a while to go. To take a while, huh?
How long did it take you? Did you start? I don't know if we started at the same time.
No, I probably started like 20 years after you.
Probably. Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 49.
Oh, okay. You're not crazy old.
No, I'm not.
I'm not-
I'm not 49. I wasn't talking about comedy. I was mostly talking about hair stuff. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to have hair like down to my butt. And
Oh,
then
really?
I got it cut like 6 months ago to my shoulders.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so now this is like somewhere in between.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to feel out what feels more like me.
The hair, as far as your hair goes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
shorter is better. It's a little
Yeah.
more cutesy.
Right.
Yeah, I can get away with saying more fucked up shit. My hair looks cute.
Did you feel like you weren't be able to when your hair was like long? What's the vibe of you with long hair?
I felt like it was more of a stereotypical hot girl hairstyle. It was more basic.
Yeah.
And so I felt more basic. And so I got to switch it up a little bit. So now I kind of got it shagged out.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's like very 70s right now.
Yeah.
Seems like it.
That's my favorite era of
The
like
70s?
style
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah.
What else did you like about the 70s, the style?
What else did I like about 70s style?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had some pretty sick music.
Sure.
They did. They love psychedelics.
Yeah.
I like psychedelics.
Yeah?
But I'm also like super lightweight with everything.
Sure.
I'm a pussy. I've never taken more than half a tab of acid.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah, but but like it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I would like to get better at taking psychedelics because I want to do ayahuasca one day.
Sure.
But right now I'm at a point where like if I have more than 2 grams of mushrooms, the come up of mushrooms really freaks me out, and I
Yeah.
start getting scared.
Yeah.
And then I also know that psychedelics can like be the onset of psychosis for
Sure.
some people.
Totally. Yeah.
And mental illness like kicks in your 20s. And so sometimes I'm afraid to do psychedelics because I'm like, what if this is how I find out I'm crazy?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, it is scary. There apparently a lot of marijuana too. So like I used to date somebody who was like working in like healthcare and stuff, and she would just like be like, "Oh yeah, a lot of people here. It was the weed that got them here."
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I get a little paranoid sometimes, you know.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I love weed.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't make me crazy.
No, I think it's just like it's a genetic thing. It's a lottery system, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just for certain people, will take them to outer space.
Yeah. This is interesting right now because I
Mhm.
didn't smoke weed yesterday. And I usually smoke just not a whole lot, but every night, like at the end of the day, everything's done.
Yeah.
Then I'll have like 3 hits from my bowl.
Sure.
And then I'll like giggle at something funny and go to bed.
That's cool.
Usually
Yeah.
what I do. But we were here and I didn't bring weed with me because I know Chris doesn't smoke, Kyron doesn't smoke. So I was like, man, no one will smoke with me. I'll feel like a crackhead going outside. So I just didn't bring my weed. And then I didn't have weed yesterday, and then I haven't had coffee yet. And I always have coffee every morning. So I'm like so pure right now.
Oh wow, you have no coffee either.
No, I'm pure
That's
consciousness.
right, you're waiting for it. That's great. So wow, what's it like? What is this? This is distillated.
Well, it kind of
Kayla.
sucks. just because I haven't had coffee, so I feel
Yeah.
like my mind is so foggy. That's how it feels.
It's so crazy because we do have a coffee maker right over there, just kind of teasing you, you know?
I know.
Just
I've
like,
been looking at it. Well, Kyron's bringing me a giant coffee. That's
that's
where he
great.
went.
Yeah. It's important, you know?
Coffee.
Coffee's so huge. No, I mean, you know, I used to date somebody who started, well, she started growing her own mushrooms.
Ooh.
When I first started dating her, she didn't do any drugs at all. And then suddenly she's growing her own mushrooms. She was taking tabs of acid. She fed me kratom, and I got very sick.
Oh.
But then she was just like, here, you should wanna, like just microdose. And I was like, okay. So I started microdosing, and you know, microdosing going Christmas shopping was like one of the great experiences, because I'm just like, I'm at the mall, and normally I'm just like, man, you know, it's so last minute or whatever, but I'm just like, man, we're all doing it, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, just at Marshall's.
Microdosing is great. It's nice to do like practical things on a microdose.
Yeah.
I've been kayaking, microdosing
wow.
a couple times. That was beautiful. But then also back in the day when I was a little more reckless, I was like 20, and I was serving at a restaurant, and I was like, maybe I'll microdose today.
Yeah.
So I was serving, and I found myself like having so much more patience with the customers. Like they were asking for specific requests or being needy, and on a regular day-to-day I'd be like, oh, complicated table.
Yeah.
But on a microdose I was like, yeah, you can have extra ketchup, no problem.
Yeah, of course.
And it was really cool, and I was like, man, this is kind of beautiful. And I definitely do think everyone could benefit from at least experiencing a microdose.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like I feel guilty that I feel weird because I haven't had coffee. I don't like to be addicted to anything.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to do it too often.
Coffee or microdosing?
Microdosing.
Yeah.
Yeah, coffee and weed are my habitual drugs,
Mm-hmm.
and I hate it. But I know I'm not addicted to weed because I can go days without smoking and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But coffee, you like feel it in your head. And so that's the thing. What's that? Oh, no. I know I keep talking about coffee like I want some. Some should be arriving.
Yeah.
I
Coffee's
appreciate
on the way.
it, though.
Is he here? No, I'm saying. Okay, well, does he...
He'll probably just bring it to me when we switch, and it'll be fine.
Got it. Well, we do appreciate you coming through. Great set last night. You were at the Don't Tell in East Liberty. You did fantastic. You've been through Pittsburgh a few times, or?
This is my second time to Pittsburgh.
Oh, right on.
I really like it.
Yeah.
The crowds here are cool.
I like the crowds here a lot, too, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty chill.
Uh-huh.
Like, I feel like I can do all my jokes.
Totally.
Which is fun. I don't really feel... Dayton's cool because it has that same vibe. Like, they love the dark humor and stuff.
Yeah.
You can do whatever. But then sometimes I'll go to, like, Cleveland or Cincinnati, and they seem to be a little more scared.
Interesting.
When you get a little crazy. But I don't feel that in Pittsburgh.
What do you think? Why do you think that is?
I think they're just a little bit more of liberal cities,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. But like, you're at a comedy show. I don't
Sure.
know. I think, but everyone's different. Everyone's different. I just have the most fun when people don't give a fuck. When they're like, "Yeah, do your jokes. We're not gonna get upset."
Yeah, and so you started in Austin?
Yeah, that's the first month of open mics I ever did was all in Austin. Yeah.
Were you okay? How'd you get to Austin from Dayton? Were you just did you go there for comedy? Were you like in school or something, and you're like, okay, I'm going to try this out? Or were you working at just microdosing at as a waitress?
No, it's crazy because my brother, he got he's so smart. He got an engineering job in Austin, got a real nice house. So he moved down there out of Ohio, and then that was the only family I had in Texas. And so he's like, come visit. And this was like a year before I ever even did an open mic. I went to Austin and visited him, and I was like, oh, this is such a fun city. There's so much to do. I went to a lot of comedy shows, and then I saw a bunch of live music. And then I would just go eat some food, and there'd be like an open mic going on.
Yeah.
And so I listened to the open mics, and I was like, man, these people don't have good jokes.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I felt like I could write jokes better,
Uh-huh.
and not to sound like pretentious or anything, but I've always been a huge comedy fan ever since like it started in high school. And Theo Vaughn was like the first comedian I like really got into.
Sure, yeah.
Listened to all his podcasts, saw him live. I've seen all like my top 5 live, which I'm so thankful for. But so I've been a huge stand-up fan. I love comedy. I always wanted to listen to funny shows. And then oh, sorry.
Who are your top 5?
Oh my God, my top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Theo Von still is there.
Okay.
I've seen him live 3 times, and I laughed like the first time I ever saw him was the hardest I've ever laughed at a comedy show. Cause he gets so weird sometimes.
He's very weird. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. And then Mark Norman. He's a joke machine. I've never seen Bobby Lee's stand up, but I'm dying to. He makes me laugh so hard on like podcasts and everything I listen to him on. So I'm sure I would really fuck with his stand up. So he's in my top 5. This is getting hard now. I always want to put a female in there. That's the camera, right?
That's the camera, yeah.
There's no other ones, are there?
There's no other ones. You can look at Tim, though.
I just have my phone.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oh, goodness. This is hard.
We can move on. You know, you can come back or
back.
not, you know.
No, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Oh, David Attell.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And there's one more left?
Yeah.
Okay, can we come back?
We can come back.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Because it's not that there's just it's too many to choose from that are
Sure,
great.
yeah.
I'm trying to remember the hardest I've laughed at a live show. And that kind of is what my criteria is.
Gotcha. I think the hardest I ever laughed was at John Mulaney's New in Town. I went there for his taping, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my friend Chanel got tickets. So, hey, you want to go see this guy? I'm like, who's this guy? Sure, why not? And it was like pretty unbelievable.
That's
I
amazing.
remember I was like doubled over laughing, and I was just like, wow, this
that's
is
awesome.
very cool. Yeah. Totally.
That's sick. But yeah, so I was in Austin just to visit him, and then I heard all these open mics, and then I was like, I feel like I could write jokes. So then I wrote a bunch of jokes, and I had them in a notebook for like a year, but I was like, no, I can't go up on stage. Like, I'm way too shy and awkward. And as a kid, I wrote a bunch of plays, and I always wanted to be in musical theater, and I loved plays, and I wrote so many of them. And in high school, I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to be in the musical theater, but was just way too shy and awkward, never did it. And then, I don't know, I guess just being out of college and being more mature and also being in Austin and not knowing anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it, I'll sign up. No one knows me. If it goes terribly, no harm done. If it goes well, then maybe we'll try again.
Hell yeah.
And that's how it went. And the first open mic, like, of course it wasn't anything great, but a couple people told me when I got off, they were like very funny, and that like lit a fire under me. And then the second open mic I did was at Vulcan, Kill Tony.
Oh, the second one ever?
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, I'll just sign up.
Wow.
And that was my second open mic ever, and that was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I was in front of like 300 people and didn't sync. Like, my jokes weren't really good, but I think I was likable, and they were laughing at me more in the interview than my jokes. And I was like, okay, 300 people had a good impression of me. And it just made me feel like I could do it, but I still get the same amount of nervous every single time.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's like the first time I'm ever going on stage every single time. It's crazy.
Do you have any rituals, anything to get you over the hump of like, oh, I'm about to do it? Because I mean, there's nothing you can really do. I've been doing like a little bit of ChatGPT. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm doing this thing, I'm kind of nervous, and it will give me pep talks.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I give myself my own pep talks.
What do you say?
I do some deep breaths, and then I always remind myself, I'm like, you can do hard things. You can do hard things.
That's nice.
That's what I tell me. And then I have to tell myself, I'm like, you're that bitch. You're that bitch. Because I so don't have like the confident female energy.
Yeah.
And so a bunch of girls tell me, they're like, Leyla, you got to remember, you're that bitch. You go up there and you kill. You got to tell yourself that.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, I can do hard things. I'm that bitch. I can do hard things. I'm that bitch. That's what I do.
Sometimes Tim gets nervous about things, and I just tell him, "You're that bitch." I've been telling him that lately, and it's been actually working wonders. So
it's true.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you still get nervous?
I do get nervous. I do. Yeah. I've actually just done like I felt bad about asking the internet or AI basically to help get me ready for it. So now I asked AI to give me just a few things to think about or whatever. And I took a screenshot, and now before shows, a lot of times I make that my background, and I'll just choose one of the things. I'm like, okay, that works. And then that will help me.
Yeah, that's kind of smart though. I never even thought to ask AI.
I've been trying to get away from it because AI has been helping me out too much. You know what I mean?
You think it's too much?
I think it's a little weird. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's like your best friend.
It was becoming my best friend a little bit, and people in my life are getting a little concerned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. How long have you been doing stand-up?
Probably 13 years now.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Damn. You're a pro.
I guess so. I don't know.
You're like
Yeah.
a god.
I am. It's okay. I'm actually put that on ChatGPT. It's gonna be my new background to help me out before shows. You were a god. No, not quite a god, but well, no, I'll take that. I am a god. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a comedy god, and but I'm a human as well. Look, it's like it's the good. I don't know where I'm going with this. Have you been watching anything lately?
Have I been watching anything?
Yeah, this is called the Media Minute. So have you been reading anything? You've been watching TV or movies that have really not necessarily been good, but just
I've been
stuck with
reading
you.
way more than I've been watching anything.
Cool. What have you been reading?
James Baldwin.
Okay.
Are you familiar?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. I used to read a lot of nonfiction
Yeah.
because I wanted to forget about real life. I love stories.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm such an old person, on the inside. I hate social media.
Yeah.
I don't know how to keep up with it. I don't post that much. I'm incredibly grateful for all the followers I have, but I don't know how I keep getting more. I never post. And so it's cool. I just use it for people to come see where I'll be doing shows so they can come out. But so I don't get any news, and I'm very not attuned with what's happening in the world. And so I'm willfully ignorant. I think it makes me a more peaceful person, but I don't want to be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know things.
Yeah.
So I've started to read fiction. No, fiction is fake. Nonfiction.
Nice.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah.
I've been reading nonfiction. Sorry, you're probably so confused by that whole thing.
I was with it. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a
If I
coffee.
had coffee, I would have said it right.
Which have you any specific James Baldwin? I've read 2 or 3 of his.
I just finished The
books.
Fire Next Time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
It was so moving.
Yeah.
And now I just started Go Tell It on the Mountain.
Is that a novel?
It's almost an autobiography.
Okay.
The main character is based on almost his entire life,
Yeah.
but he embellishes a little bit.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty based in reality in Harlem. But it's really cool because I'm learning about history.
Yeah.
I'm learning about a different perspective. And he has a lot to say on human nature that's very philosophical. It makes you think. It makes you reflect. I feel like reading his work is making me a more mindful speaker, even though it might not seem that way right now. But I find myself thinking about what I'm going to say more and how it's going to make others feel more. And so I've really been enjoying reading his work.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But other than that, I haven't watched TV in forever. The last show I watched was that penis show, that Pen 15.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
I've seen some of it. Yeah.
It's funny.
Uh-huh.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
A lady told me that my stand-up reminded her of that show, so
Interesting.
I had to watch it.
Yeah.
And then I watched it. And
Did
I
you
was
feel like?
fuck.
What does that
I
mean?
was like, fuck me.
You're pretending to be a teenager or something? Or middle school? Yeah.
I talk a lot about being awkward when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
guess I guess that kind of makes sense in a weird way. Yeah, that's a weird note. Have you gotten any other? What's the weirdest note someone's ever said to you
The
after a
weirdest
show?
one?
Like, hey, this is whatever. An audience member said to you after a show.
This was a while ago. Now I kind of purposefully do it where I'll say something and then just pause for a long time.
Uh-huh.
And then sometimes if a joke doesn't land, if I just smile and look at them, they'll start laughing.
Yeah.
And so the awkward silences have become a thing that I do.
Yeah.
But before I learned that this is a thing I could do, I was doing it unintentionally
Uh-huh.
because I just kind of speak slow and I have a slow delivery.
Yeah.
That's how I am on stage. And someone told me after a show, they were like, I love how you work the crowd in such an uncomfortable way. You make it so silent in there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's a terrible thing. You don't want it to be silent. But but I think he was just saying the way I will do long pauses and make it an awkward feeling is
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
Which I was unintentionally doing,
Uh-huh.
but then I've learned that's the thing that people like from me. So now I've learned, but I'm still learning how to hone that
Yeah.
in. Because sometimes I'll get quiet and I genuinely feel awkward. I'm not doing it on purpose sometimes. So
But you're just gonna lean in to it a little bit.
yeah,
It's kind of that's cool. It was a good note then.
It made me more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, someone told me recently that it's like, I really like your awkward comedy. I don't know what that means. It's awkward, yeah. So I guess it's I've heard it more than a few times, so I'm just like, okay, all right. I guess I'm awkward. I don't know how to utilize that or enforce it more.
Yeah, it's weird when someone gives you a note that you weren't thinking about yourself prior.
Right, yeah.
I've always known I was awkward, so people saying that I was awkward wasn't that weird, but them telling me that the silences was cool.
Right.
I was like, shit, okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that and run with it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, but my eyes get wide sometimes.
Oh, yeah?
Not so much anymore, but in the beginning when I was really nervous, my eyes would be like this all the time. It was like that on Kill Tony.
Yeah?
Yeah, when I watch it back, I hate it. I hate how wide they are. So now I consciously try to like look a little
squinty.
Yeah, and then I think it just equals to normalize.
Right, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So people told me I looked like I was on a lot of drugs.
It's a good thing though, because it's like otherwise. I'm just saying, you know, like your eyes are wide. At least you're not like looking away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people look away, but if your eyes are wide, it's like, oh, this is at least like it's engaging. You know what I mean? So that's good.
Do you look at people's eyes? Do you look them in the eye?
Sometimes, if I really want to, like, you know, intimidate them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of comics say they like look at the wall or something.
Yeah.
They don't. I love looking at the people.
Yeah.
I want to know how they feel.
Sure.
I want to know who's laughing and who's not.
Uh-huh.
And then if someone is not laughing at something, I'll check back. And then if they're laughing at another, I'm like, yes, got him.
So we have a
great transition.
We'll mark that. So so this is called the Skullet podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm growing a skullet. You know, it started out as a goof. I saw a movie where Ed Harris was growing a skullet, and I was like, I'm gonna do that. Okay.
Oh, that's what you're going for.
Yeah, I've been a shaved bald guy for the last 10 years, and I saw this, and I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. You know.
Oh my.
So it started out as a goof, but now as time moves on, I see it more as an act of rebellion.
Yes.
So I asked my guests, is there anything similar in your life? You know, have you ever done something that, you know, maybe your friends or family told you you shouldn't do it, you know, but you felt like you had to.
You get so much women when you look like that. So many women. I said so much women.
I plan to. I plan to get so much women from this for sure.
Are you a married man?
I'm not a married man.
Are you a dating man?
I'm a dating man. Yeah.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, what a dog, out there in the sea.
I'm out there. Yeah, I'm a dating man. I'm dating one woman right now.
Oh, exclusive?
Yeah, it's pretty exclusive.
How long has it been?
It's been as long as I grew a skullet. It's been about 3 months.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's so fresh.
It is fresh, yeah. Thank you. Oh, my hair was... You meant the relationship.
I meant her pussy, but...
No comment for that one.
Oh, that's fun, though.
Yeah, it's fun.
I will answer your question, but now I have more questions
Go for
about
it,
this.
yeah.
So when you were out there in the sea,
Yeah.
and if you saw a woman and you thought she was cute, how'd you approach her?
If I'm on the scene?
Yeah, like say you're in a grocery store, because that's where so many people approach women are in grocery stores.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so if you're in a Kroger,
Okay.
do you have Krogers here?
I can imagine what a Kroger is.
Okay, you're in a Kroger,
Mm-hmm.
and you see a girl, and she's looking
Yeah.
at pasta.
A
And
pasta,
you think she's
huh?
cute, and you're like, man, something about her. I want to talk to her.
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
I'd be like, oh, you're a fan of linguine, huh? Well, you want to come and see my linguine?
No,
That's not good?
you wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that? No. You don't know. You don't know what single Ronnie was like. I had shaved hair back then, you know? I wore a lot of black, wore sunglasses inside. Now look at me. Completely changed man.
And okay, so this scenario has never actually gone down, or has it?
I would never do that, no.
I knew it.
Yeah.
You seem too self-aware to do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure I wouldn't do that.
It'd be so funny if you did, though.
If I said the linguine thing?
Yeah, but you like half-ass it because you don't want to seem intimidating. But if
Sure,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, so you like linguine? You
Yeah.
wanna you wanna come see mine?
Yeah. It's like, you want to see what else gets soft in a pot?
Yeah, like you feel awkward about saying it.
Yeah.
Then she'd probably giggle, and then you'd have her in the bag.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the times I've approached I was once in Florida. I was doing a show in Florida, series of shows in Florida, and my friend, he was a married man, and I was a single man. I didn't really know how to talk to women, and he said, "Go to those 2 girls over there and just ask if they're sisters." And that's what I did. I was like, "Hey, are you sisters?" And they're like, "No," and then they laughed, and then I was in. You know?
You didn't talk to them further? You just walked away?
I was like, I nailed it, and he's like, "That's it." No, we talked more. Yeah. It was a whole thing. But
like, cool, and walk away.
That's how I approached. But at that point, I was in. I asked them a question. There were, whatever else.
That's a great go-to.
Is it?
Yeah. It'd be really funny if you went up to like a black girl and a white girl and were like, "Are you guys sisters?"
That is good. That's really good.
I wonder if they'd laugh.
I do wonder if they laugh.
Or if they get weirded out.
It depends on my energy, I guess, and what I was wearing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to speak on the act of rebellion.
Please do.
Your Skullet is an act of rebellion?
I think so, yeah.
Who are you rebelling against?
Just societal norms,
Really?
I think so. I think because you're a bald guy, you only have certain choices to make as far as hairstyles go.
Yeah.
So, the bald thing was a thing that I could do. And it was society. It was like, okay, sure. Why not? And I don't smoke enough weed to keep saying society. But then society said, you can't do what you're doing, Ron. And I'm just like, why not? Why can't I grow an incredible skull that goes all the way down on my back,
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
It'll make you look less like normal SpongeBob. You remember the episode where his edges were round?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. If he pulls it up.
Please do.
I want you to see. It'll make you look less like that. And I like your rebellion.
Thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
I appreciate it.
I want to see.
You're always going to take a while. The internet's slow, or
Okay.
is MacBook's exploding?
If I have an act of rebellion, let me think. I did have one when I started. I don't have like a ton of tattoos, but my first tattoo was a very much an act of rebellion. I forget which ankle it's on. It's on. I forget. Oh, this little
The alien.
You
Yeah.
see it?
Uh-huh.
My dad, he's a Turkish man, and he's very much more traditional in his beliefs.
Yeah.
And he wants his women to either go into the nursing field and make thousands of dollars and not need a man,
Mm-hmm.
or he wants me to be a housewife and cook and clean and be married to a financially stable man.
Uh-huh.
So he's very traditional, and he works on the Air Force Base in Dayton. And he can't tell me what his job is.
Oh.
I'm always skeptical of the government and big pharma. Fuck the man. They are giving us brain viruses and making our bodies rot, and they profit off of our misfortune, and they want us to be against each other. There you are.
SpongeBob.
A
Okay.
A Skullet makes you look less like that.
It's true. That is very true.
Oh, it was a good comparison, right?
Yeah, that's very good.
He was cute in that episode. He was like, "Hi, how you doing?"
Now she sees it like in her face. She's trying to be nice about it. Oh, but he was cute in that episode. She's like, oh, that was actually too accurate. I feel bad now.
That is actually eerily accurate, to be honest.
You just have you're very shiny. You
I have
look
very
soft.
shiny. Yeah. Same smile, too. Wow. I'm never going to look at myself the same again.
Well, it's a great episode.
Yeah.
But anyways, I've always been skeptical of the government. And my dad works on the Air Force Base, and he can't tell me what his job is. He can't tell anybody. He has to take a lie detector test. So he's not in the military, but he's like a high security guy, high clearance or whatever. Can't really speak about his job. So I've never known what my dad does. But the Air Force Base in Dayton had Ghost Adventures go there because apparently it's super haunted.
Oh, wow.
But then all this shit comes out, and I don't keep up with the news, so this is literally just things I've heard from other people, so
Yeah.
it could not be true. But I've heard that the Air Force Base, that's where alien technology is taken. Like, if there's foreign technology that is found, it's taken to the Air Force Base to be, like, analyzed.
Oh, wow.
And so people say that there's alien technology on the base. And years ago, when I was in high school, I said, Baba, that's what I call my dad.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Baba, they say there's alien technology on the base where you work. What do you know about it? And he said, oh, Layla Jim, you shouldn't believe everything you hear. it's a bunch of bullshit, and got kind of angry. And I was like, your anger is suspicious.
Oh.
And just completely deny. And if
Yeah.
I ever brought aliens up to him, deny. And I was like, Baba, you work on the Air Force Base. You have a little more insight than the average person. And he was just so hard against aliens not being real. So then when I turned 18, I got an alien tattoo to rebel against him.
Wow.
That's where it came from. But now alien shit has come out, and like
Yeah.
the government is acknowledging aliens. And I brought it up to him, and he's like, yeah, they got a blah 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 bloop on the base right now. And I was like, Baba, years ago you were saying I was crazy,
Yeah.
and now you're saying I'm right. So I'm like, man, you're just a cog in the government's machine. And it's sad because I love my dad, but they've gotten him. They got his brain.
My dad used to be a police officer, and he used to kick down doors and stuff.
Whoa.
You know, like raids.
Yeah.
And now
Did
he
he ever
works.
open them?
Open.
Doors?
I think
Or
he
was
did.
always kicking them?
It was a weird thing. We always had to break open, get new door hinges and stuff. He just would kick open the doors all the
That's how he
time.
comes home from
It
work
was
every
just
day.
like we had to replace so many garage doors. But he now he's just security at a weed store.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just life has
Interesting.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Does he use weed or no?
No, but he's like, actually, maybe this is it's good for falling asleep and stuff. Some
Yeah.
people really seem to need it, I was like, it's just dad's change, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because older people, they almost seem to be getting a little more chill.
Yeah.
And now it's the very young people that are like real uptight about everything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That it's interesting.
Yeah,
Not that young people are so uptight, but some of them are.
yeah. You've come across several uptight youths.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you not?
I mean, I guess I know what you mean. Are you talking about like just in your comedy travels, or just like in
Yeah, in everyday life and in comedy, like I've had a majority of my audience like that follows me on Instagram and
Yeah.
stuff. They're definitely male, which is fine, but I want women to like my stand up too. I want
Yeah.
to appeal to everybody. And so sometimes like in the past I've been sad that not as many women fuck with my comedy. So whenever a female compliments my set, it means a lot because
Yeah.
I know that they're not just trying to fuck and they
Right.
actually enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But some women have told me that my act is like setting women back, and I'm like, how so? And they're like, because you're up there and you play into being ditzy, and then you have like, I have some dark jokes, and I've made rape jokes in the past and stuff, and it's like, how is that setting women back? I feel like it's more liberating because, first of all, I naturally sound ditzy. I sound ditzy as fuck. And that's how I sound. I'm just talking how I talk up there.
Right.
And I'm not meaning to sound. I think that playing into being ditzy can be very funny because then I can make stupid jokes and everyone's like, oh, she's so stupid.
Yeah.
Like it can be funny. And I never saw it as setting women back. And then as far as talking about like rape and sexual assault and stuff, I almost feel like it's more liberating to be free to joke about that stuff. Like if you've experienced something and then you're making jokes about it, like that is liberation. That's always how I've felt about it. Like, why does it need to be taboo and secret and we can't talk about it and I'm so shameful? And so to me, and it kind of actually really hurt me that she said that a couple women have told me that I'm setting women back.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be confusing, right?
It is confusing because I was like, man, girl, I'm just writing my jokes and going up there. You could do the same. I'm not trying to set anyone back.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, just speaking on like the ditzy thing, you think like Dolly Parton kind of spoke a certain way, talked a certain way, but she was still, I don't know, maybe it's just a matter of time eventually. Like, then everyone just like sees her as like as an icon, and they give her like a theme park and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also been really good for me to travel outside of Ohio to bigger comedy scenes.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more female comics. And like in Dayton, where I'm from, there's not a lot of female comics.
Sure.
And then a lot of the women in Ohio, there's some very funny women, but sometimes they'll have more of a masculine energy.
Oh.
And I haven't seen a lot of women with more of a girly energy do stand-up until I started traveling to other places.
Right, yeah.
And then I was like, oh shit, these very feminine women are also doing stand-up and they're doing great. And so it kind of inspired me. I was like, I can just hone in on my energy and be myself. I don't have to try to be more masculine or something.
Yeah.
And so that's been really cool. That's been so recent, within the last like 4 months.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Have you been doing a lot of traveling lately?
As much as I can. I try to get out of Ohio as much as I can and afford.
Sure.
It's not like people are flying me out and putting me in a hotel and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So if I have money, I like to go outside of Ohio as much as I can.
So when did you go back from Austin to Dayton?
So the first month I was there and then did the open mics. It went well.
Yeah.
So I went to mics every single night of the week for a month. Then I came back to Ohio and I was like, oh, I want to get a job at a comedy club. And I was living at Columbus at the time. So I got a job. I got a job at the Columbus Funny Bone.
Oh, nice.
But I still didn't know where any mics were. I didn't know anyone in the scene. So it was like, getting a job here will introduce me to people that are in on the scene, and I'll know where to go, which is precisely what happened. I started working there, met local comics. They showed me all the Facebook pages and all the links and stuff. Went to mics there, steady for like, I want to say 6 months I worked at the Columbus Funny Bone. But then I was living with my ex-boyfriend, and he made a lot of money. So we had a nice apartment in Columbus. I was living luxury for a second.
Oh, shit.
But then I don't have a lot of money. You know, I've just been a server ever since high school. And I graduated college, but it wasn't, an office job isn't my passion. I want to do something more artistic. So I had just been serving, and so me myself didn't have a whole lot of savings. I had to move back to Dayton to save money. Cost of living is so much cheaper there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working at the Dayton Funny Bone, and I worked there for a while, and then got keen on the Dayton comedy scene. And then Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton are like the places I run around the most. But then I started getting booked on shows like every weekend. And I got so excited, but I was requesting off every weekend from the Funny Bone.
Oh, yeah.
So they told me, they were like, Layla, your dreams are coming true. This is beautiful. We're gonna have to let you go. And I was like, you guys are firing me?
Wow.
Because I'm getting comedy shows.
Wow.
And so it was crazy. But the manager, she's cool, and she was like, if you ever have a weekend without a show, like, just hit us up and you can serve. And then they've had me go and host a couple shows there.
Cool.
So it's not like bad terms or anything.
Yeah.
It just felt weird because I was getting fired because I was doing stand up. It was crazy.
That is crazy, yeah. And so what was the Columbus scene like? Did you enjoy the scene in Columbus?
I did, yeah.
Yeah?
They're little there's more eccentric characters there.
Oh.
They're a little goofier, I'd say.
Yeah.
So cause I think there's more of an improv scene in Columbus along
interesting.
with stand up.
Yeah.
Dayton doesn't really have an improv scene. So I think that's where that comes from. You'll see people wearing funny outfits up there.
That's terrible. I don't approve.
I know stand-ups hate on improv a lot. I've been on some shows that'll do a mix of stand-up and improv, and I do have to say the improv usually makes a momentum dip.
Of course.
Like, it'll be on a roll with stand-up. Audience is loving it. Improv goes up there, momentum dies.
It requires more work from the audience. They're not, you're not being talked to. It's like, I got to watch this, this concept that is happening. I like improv, but still, just a person in a funny outfit, it's very easy to make fun of,
Yeah, I like improv when it's funny. There's some very funny improv. And then I took like a 2-part improv class, but it was specifically improv for stand-up comedians.
Oh, cool.
Which was so perfect. I think those classes should be offered like more. We need more of that.
Yeah?
Because it was so cool, and I wanted to do more, but after 2 classes, you had to start paying. And so I was like,
oh,
no.
wow, sure, yeah.
I'll take all the free info and then dip. But it was cool because it really helped you get looser. Like, they would say, what's one of your favorite jokes that has an act out? And then we want you to act it out.
Oh, cool.
They were trying to get you to enhance your jokes.
Yeah.
Because before, if you have an act out and you're kind of reluctant or feel embarrassed about it, it's not, you could make it crush so much harder if you would commit. And so they were teaching you how to like commit to your act outs and your jokes and inflection, change your voice.
39 minutes.
That was smooth.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, but I was thinking, if I sneeze, I'm going to say the time thing. I just didn't want to interrupt her, but I had, The
All
Empress
right.
made me.
Well, we'll wrap up here in a little bit. You've been a tremendous guest.
Thank you. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, that's the whole point. You're supposed to talk. You're the guest on the podcast. Your dad's from Turkey.
He was born in Texas, but his parents are from Turkey.
Last night I was talking about hair transplant, and I heard someone in the crowd say Turkey.
Yeah.
I was in Chicago recently, and I was talking to a comic, and he was talking about he's like, I'm getting a hair transplant, and he's like, I'm going to Turkey, and he looked at me and he's like, I got a guy, don't worry about it. So Turkey, known for hair transplants.
Yeah, they are. They're known for very thick hair.
Yeah.
Turkish people have great hair, and the women are stereotypically pretty hairy. Thankfully, I think I got my mom's genes on the hairy side.
Nice.
I'm not like a super hairy woman, and I'm thankful for that. But man, Turkish men, some of the hairiest men I've ever seen. Like unibrows galore.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's normal there. People, maybe if a bunch of hairies were walking around the U.S., everyone would be like, "What's going on?"
Did you know that Dayton is the first place that had the cash register?
In the world, like in the U.S. or the world?
I don't know. Wow. Yeah.
So that's pretty innovative.
Also, it's the first place that ever had you could serve food to a person on a horse.
It's also the birthplace of flight, Ronnie.
I know that. All right, but I mean these are fun or facts,
Wait,
and funner is not a word, but.
you guys serve food to someone on a horse? That was illegal before.
I picked somebody up from the airport yesterday after the show, and he went to Dayton. He went to the college there, and he was spouting off Dayton facts, and then he mentioned those two, and I wanted to say that to you because you're from Dayton. So
Oh my God, thank you for telling me that.
you're welcome. This is some Dayton trivia for
Well,
you.
I have a question about the horse thing.
Go ahead.
You couldn't give food to somebody on a horse before? Like back in the day when they rode horses like normal?
Look, I didn't ask the follow-up question, but I'm imagining it's similar to like the fast food places that would serve like on roller skates to your car, but it's to a
Yeah.
person on a horse.
What do they call those? A drive-in? No, that's a movie theater.
It's a combination of a drive-in and a drive-through, but it's like
Like a Sonic,
a Sonic, exactly.
but for horses.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
What if people were getting arrested before then for like giving
Illegally doing
Yeah.
that, you can't be doing that.
You look hungry. I was giving my friend a sandwich and you're like in handcuffs.
That
is an interesting fact.
And do you have one more fun fact, or did you figure out your fifth?
Oh, I haven't even been thinking about it. Okay, I will say this. Do you know who Jessica Kirsten is?
Yeah,
I saw her live at the Columbus Funny Bone on Valentine's Day.
she's a beast.
And that was the hardest I've ever
Yeah.
laughed at a female comedian. And I don't mean to categorize it as male and female, but just because I can't have my top 5 without a female in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's great female comedians out there. You put it up there?
Nailed it.
Yeah, let's put
Jessica
Jessica
Kirsten
Kirsten
up
up there.
there.
She's a beast.
Kirsten, Kirson.
She did an hour, and the first 30 minutes was just riffs. And she was like talking about her grandparents having sex and acting out her grandparents' sex. And it was killing me. It was so funny. She is not afraid to get like a creature and be weird.
Totally.
Yes, and it was so fun. It's so cool. I love to watch people do that because it's so different than me. Like I want to be a weirdo,
Yeah.
but I'm so like shy right now.
Uh-huh.
So I love watching other people be weirdos.
Yeah. I think she does this thing sometimes. If it's not going as well as she wants, she'll just turn it around and talk to the wall, and she'll just be like, I don't know what's wrong with them, and and she'll kind of include some of her crowd work she did earlier and stuff, and yeah, she's a real pro. I think Colin Chamberlain actually opens up for her a ton.
Yeah, I looked up her. Yeah, she's very funny.
He's a Pittsburgh guy that moved out to New York.
Hell yeah! Last time I was here was where I saw Dave Attell
At the Improv.
at the Improv.
Oh,
yes,
shit.
And then he had a girl named Osha, who was from
Yeah,
Cincinnati.
yeah.
He had her up there, and I was like, I cannot believe Osha's here. Like that's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, shout out Osha.
Shout out. Well, shout out to you. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank
Where
you
can
for
people
having
find
me.
you?
You can find me on Instagram at LeylaIngallz_. That's my Instagram. And then that's all I got right now. My Instagram's linked to my Facebook, so if you got Facebook, you'll see.
All right.
I'm so bad at social media.
No, you're doing great. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been the Skullet Podcast. If you enjoyed it, please follow our guests. Please follow us. Rate, review, subscribe. And remember, not all growth is good, but keep it in the back of your head.
That's right.
Oh yeah, right here.